She was the most lethal assassin and was tasked to act as a high school student.
Will take it off.
She disciplined bullies, but one day the enemies sent assassins to kill her in the classroom. But their plan took a sharp turn, and it will shock you. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. So, there's this secret school called Prescott, run by the government, where orphan girls are basically turned into lethal assassins. These girls have never experienced love or normal emotions. From the time they could walk, they've been trained to be killers. The guy in charge, Hardman, drills into them that attachments are bad news, something no secret agent should have. One of the top students, known as 83, isn't buying that whole no attachments thing. She desperately wants a family, but fitting in at Prescott is impossible. She's the best in everything, but that just makes the other girls hate her, especially her main competitor, 84. Due to her amazing skills, 83 is chosen for active duty first. Her initial mission? Snag a briefcase from a guy, and she pulls it off like a pro in no time. Being sent out on missions gives 83 a taste of the real world, and she starts envying the everyday life of regular girls her age. During one mission, she takes a little detour to gather intel on what normal teens do. She becomes more and more fascinated with teenage life, getting hooked on teen movies and the like. Back at Prescott, 83 is assigned to capture a dangerous arms dealer, Victoria Knox. During the briefing, 83 is caught sneaking a look at some teen magazines, but Hardman still trusts her to handle the mission. Knox is smart and has a thing for taking down Prescott agents, so 83 fakes getting captured, then takes out Knox's henchman. She even ties Knox to a balloon, and before Knox can figure out what's happening, a plane swoops in and lifts them both into the air. Things take a turn when Knox pulls out a gun and shoots at 83, forcing her to dive into the river below. Knox gets taken in by Prescott, and she and Hardman have a suspiciously familiar chat like they have history. Meanwhile, 83 survives the fall, but instead of answering Hardman's call, she ditches her radio, making it look like she's gone AWOL. She's finally free and ready to live her dream of being a regular teen. 83 adopts the name Megan Walsh and signs up for a student exchange program to fully immerse herself in normal life. She lands with the Larsons, a friendly family, and off she goes to Newton, USA. Mrs. Larson and her son Parker give her a warm welcome, but their daughter Liz? Yeah, not so much. Awkwardness follows when Megan hugs a random guy, thinking he's Mr. Larson, only to find out Mrs. Larson's divorced. Once home, Megan feels grateful for Mrs. Larson's kindness. During dinner, she bonds with Parker, who's obsessed with ninjas, but Liz stays cold. Back in her room, Megan prepares her cover story, using magazine pics to style herself, but she goes a bit overboard, showing up to her first day of high school way overdressed. Naturally, she becomes the laughing stock, and Liz, though reluctant, lends her some clothes to change in. Megan feels totally lost and unsure. Later, while waiting to be introduced to the school, she meets Roger, who helps calm her nerves. She mistakenly calls stage lighting a geeky thing from a magazine, but Roger doesn't mind. He's the first person to really be nice to her, giving Megan a heads up about the school bullies. When Megan is finally introduced, the school jerk, Gooch, publicly humiliates her, but the popular guy, Cash, swoops in to save the day. He serenades her with a song, and she's instantly smitten, along with all the other girls. Cash leads a band called Emoticon and quickly becomes the object of Megan's crush. At lunch, Megan is invited to sit with the cheerleaders, but turns them down, convinced from her teen movie research that they're out to humiliate her. In her first class, she sits next to Roger, and they bond over their shared sense of humor. After class, she spots Cash, but Gooch tries to mess with Megan. Thanks to her training, easily takes him down without breaking a sweat. That night, Megan sneaks into the school to alter the seating chart so she can sit next to Cash in class. Everything goes smoothly, but the next day, she finds herself in a battle for his attention with other girls. Meanwhile, the teacher picks Cash as the lab assistant, leaving Megan disappointed. Later, the girls who tricked her earlier suggest she try out for the school mascot, claiming it'll get her closer to Cash. Megan, thinking it'll help her cause, falls for the trick and goes for it. Megan reluctantly takes on the role of the Viking mascot, and, to her surprise, nails her performance, landing the part. However, things take a strange turn when she notices a van following. On the day of the big competition, masked men from the van try to kidnap her, but thanks to her combat skills, Megan easily takes them down, even throwing an axe at one of them. It turns out they were just rival school students following an odd tradition. Embarrassed by the situation, Megan runs off, but Roger tries to comfort her, though it doesn't help much. Feeling like she's failing at being a regular teenager, Mrs. Larson gives Megan heartfelt advice, reassuring her that it's okay to be herself. The next day, Megan's life takes a sudden turn. Her fight with the kidnappers goes viral, earning her applause from her peers and even the respect of the bullies. To top it off, Cash invites her to a band jam session, bringing Megan closer to the life she's always dreamed of. Megan arrives early, and Roger playfully sneaks up on her, leading to a brief scuffle where she accidentally knocks him down. As they chat, Megan mentions martial arts, which Roger finds strange but amusing. Their conversation is interrupted when Cash and his band arrive, with Cash pulling Megan aside to get her opinion on his new song. Although Megan feels out of place, she craves Cash's attention and eagerly agrees to attend a party he invites her to. On her way home, Megan is followed by a car and kidnapped by the Prescott crew. She wakes up tied to a chair, facing Hardman, who accuses her of working for someone else. He injects her with a truth serum, and in an emotional moment, Megan tearfully admits she just wants a normal life, free from her past as an assassin. Hardman releases her, but gives her an ultimatum: leave her current life behind and return to Prescott as Agent 83. After being injected with truth serum, Megan, still feeling its effects, opens up to Liz, encouraging her to drop her tough girl act and form real connections. Megan then passes out. The next day, she has an honest conversation with Roger, who reassures her of her worth, but despite this, she chooses to sit with Cash at lunch and invites him to a party at Gooch's. At home, Liz and Mrs. Larson argue over whether Megan should attend the party, but Liz is ultimately allowed to go to keep an eye on her. The party is wild, and Heather, Agent 84, arrives to stir up trouble. Megan and Heather compete for Cash's attention, but Cash chooses Megan, leaving Heather behind. Roger later shows up and is heartbroken to find Megan kissing Cash, causing him to leave the party in tears. The next morning, Liz wakes up with a tattoo on her face after bonding with Gooch at the party, and Mrs. Larson scolds Megan for abandoning Liz for waffles. Despite the chaos, the experience strengthens Megan and Liz's relationship. On the way to school, Hardman confronts Megan, urging her to return to Prescott because Knox has escaped. Megan, however, is determined to leave her assassin life behind and focus on her high school life. And while Hardman allows her to stay, he warns that she'll be on her own if Knox comes after her. Running late for school, Megan and Liz finally start bonding during their drive when a car suddenly pulls up and gunshots are fired. Megan takes control of the wheel, swerving to avoid a crash while confessing her true identity and why she's being hunted. After a high-speed chase ending in a scrapyard crash, both survive, and Megan realizes Heather was behind the attack due to her familiar perfume. At the hospital, Megan informs Hardman about Heather, only to discover that Heather has been working for Knox all along. Megan requests her gear back, but Hardman refuses since she's no longer with Prescott. Feeling guilty for endangering Liz, Megan considers leaving, but Liz convinces her to stay. A drawing by Parker solidifies Megan's decision to fight for her new family. Megan and Liz agree to team up against Knox. After a fun day of preparation, they head to homecoming with their dates. While Liz and Gooch enjoy themselves, Megan and Cash struggle to connect. Realizing Cash isn't right for her, Megan ditches him before his concert and heads to Roger, admitting her feelings. But it's too late. Heather is now dating Roger. A fight between Megan and Heather breaks out at the party, causing chaos. Megan gains the upper hand, using a fire hose to knock Heather down, but Heather warns that Knox is coming for the Larsons. Liz steps in, stabbing Heather with a corn dog, allowing Megan to defeat her. Back at the house, Megan confronts Knox, who reveals she's Prescott's original agent number 1. The situation escalates, but Parker's quick use of a flashbang allows Hardman and his team to capture Knox. Megan reconciles with Hardman, who offers her a spot back at Prescott, but she chooses to stay with the Larsons, living undercover. In the end, Megan flies in by helicopter to apologize to Roger, confess her feelings, and ask him out again. Roger agrees, and the two, along with Liz and Gooch, enjoy their newfound friendships as they fly off together.